Hi, Miss Bethany here. We have our News to You article today. We're going to read the article, then there's a special recipe we're going to try to make, a couple of jokes, and then we'll have some discussion questions. You ready to get started? Today our News to You article is called Women's History Month. March is Women's History Month in the U.S. People can honor important women in March. One woman people are honoring is Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She is an important woman in the history of U.S. law. Ginsburg was born on March 15, 1933. She was born in Brooklyn, New York. Ginsburg wanted to become a lawyer. Ginsburg went to law school. Few women were in law school with her. So she was one of the only women that was in that law school. Ginsburg graduated from law school in 1959. She was one of the best students in the class. Ginsburg became a lawyer. Most lawyers were men then. Few lawyers were women. Ginsburg learned men and women were treated differently. Laws were different for men and women. Laws protected men's rights more than women's rights. Ginsburg worked to change the laws. She worked to protect women's rights. Ginsburg became a Supreme Court justice in 1993. She was the second woman to become a justice. A justice is a kind of judge. The Supreme Court is the highest court in the U.S. The Supreme Court makes decisions about the laws. Ginsburg helped the Supreme Court make important decisions. Some decisions helped to protect women's rights. Ginsburg was a Supreme Court justice until 2020. She died on September 18, 2020. Many people honored Ginsburg then. Some people are honoring Ginsburg in March. Artists made a statue that looks like Ginsburg. People can see the statue starting on March 15th. The statue will be in Brooklyn, New York. The statue is made of bronze. People may visit the statue in March. They may learn about Ginsburg in March too. March is Women's History Month in the U.S. People honor important women in March. What woman could you honor? What woman do you think you could honor and remember? Could be your mom, or your grandma, or your sister. Okay, let's read about Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And this date right here says 1933, and that means she was born in 1933. And this one says 2020, and that means she died in 2020. Let's read it. Ruth Bader Ginsburg was born on March 15th, 1933. So she would have a birthday coming up soon. Ginsburg was married to Martin Ginsburg. Martin Ginsburg was a lawyer too. Ginsburg was 87 years old when she died. She was a Supreme Court justice for 27 years. Brooklyn, New York. Ruth Bader Ginsburg was born in Brooklyn, New York. Brooklyn is a borough in the New York City. A borough is like a big neighborhood. More than 2 million people live in Brooklyn. The Coney Island amusement park is in Brooklyn. 2 million people, that's a lot of people. Okay, it's time for our recipe. This is called Ginsberg green beans. So it's a recipe after Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She was so important, they named this recipe after her. Ginsberg green beans. We're going to need 12-ounce bag of frozen whole green beans, 1/4 of a cup of grated Parmesan cheese, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 gallon-sized zip-top bag, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, and a baking sheet. First thing we're going to do is preheat the oven to 400. Then we're going to put the green beans, olive oil, and the garlic powder into a zip-top bag and seal the bag. Then we're going to turn the bag gently to mix it, and then we'll put the green beans onto the baking sheet in one layer. Then we'll bake it for 15 to 20 minutes, and then we're going to sprinkle the cheese onto the green beans. Wait for it to cool down, and then we can eat it. So actually, I have all of the ingredients for this. So do you want to try to make it with me in the kitchen? Okay, let's try it. Okay, I'm here in my kitchen, and I have my green beans here, frozen. I have some garlic powder. I have 1/4 cup of cheese, grated cheese, and then I have my olive oil. Okay, so let's do it. Let's make this. We're going to put the green beans, the olive oil, and the garlic powder into a Ziploc bag. Okay, so pour this. I don't have a gallon-size Ziploc bag, so I have a smaller size. This size will have to do. All right, now I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of olive oil onto the beans. Okay, you gotta figure out what hand works best for you. Pour 1 tablespoon. Just pour it right in there into the bag. This is my 2nd tablespoon. Olive oil. Oh, I spilled a little bit. I'll have to clean up afterwards. Okay, I poured that into the bag. And the next part is the garlic powder. And I need 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. Okay, I'll take my garlic powder, about 1/2 teaspoon, into my bag. All right, smells good already. Okay, I'm gonna zip it. And then I'm going to just turn it gently. So this is how we mix it. You see what it looks like? Just turn it around gently like that. So every piece of green bean gets olive oil on it. Okay. And some garlic powder. All right. I think it's pretty well mixed. So let me move you over here. All right. This is my baking sheet. And my oven says 400 degrees. Open it up. And do 1 layer of green beans. Okay. I'm going to put it in the oven, and then afterwards I'll put the cheese on when it's all done so it can melt. All right. Okay, thanks for doing that with me. I hope you could see it, and you can try to make it at home too. if you have all the ingredients for it. Not a whole lot of ingredients. Okay, it's time for our jokes. Are you ready? The first one's a knock-knock joke. Knock, knock. Who's there? Honor. Honor who? On her birthday, I will celebrate. On her birthday, I will celebrate. Ha ha. That's funny. That's a funny joke. Okay, the next one. I have a joke. Tell me, what does a judge put in a drink? I don't know. What? Just ice. Just ice. That's just like justice. Like a Supreme Court justice, it's spelled just ice. Okay, let's do our game page. We're going to figure out what this article was talking about. So I'll read the word and you decide if that's what the article was talking about or not. Okay, let's start. Protect. Did we talk about protect? Yes, we talked about protecting women's rights. Women. Yes, we talked about women in this article. Ice skates. No, didn't talk about ice skates. Justice. Yes, remember a joke? Just ice. Statue. Yes, we talked about the new statue that they're making of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Fairground. Nope, didn't talk about fairground. Important. Yes, we talked about the important woman. March. Yes, this is the month that we're remembering all of the important women that have lived. Water park. Nope, didn't talk about water park. Lawyer. Yes. Supreme Court. Yes. Law. Yes. Highest. Yes, we did. Remember, the Supreme Court is the highest court in the land. Decisions. Yes. Lawyers have to make good decisions. Honor. Yes, we honor the important woman in our lives. Baseball player. No, not this time. Okay, the next part is our review page. We're going to remember what was the paper about, and it has some questions for us. What is the paper about? Monarch migration, Women's History Month, or Black History Month virtual festival? Women's History Month. Who became a Supreme Court justice in 1993? Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Condoleezza Rice, or Peggy Whitson? Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Where was Ruth Bader Ginsburg born? Los Angeles, California, Washington, D.C., or Brooklyn, New York? Brooklyn, New York. What is the highest court in the U.S.? The Senate, the Department of State, or the Supreme Court? The Supreme Court. What did artists make to honor Ruth Bader Ginsburg? What did they make to honor her? A building? A statue? Or a car? A statue. What was Ruth Bader Ginsburg before she was a justice? A lawyer, a president, or a principal? Remember, she was a lawyer. All right, we made it. Good job. We'll see you later. I hope you can make your Ginsburg green beans today. Bye.